it's green tea. So hi, it's been a while, hasn't it? It's been like a year and a half or something like that. New location, new everything. I'll get back onto that later, but it's where I've been since my last video in August, June, July of 2018, I guess. I don't remember. I have probably had the most stressful year of my life trying to find some kind of graduate job related to the degree I did. It has been a very interesting time. I think I've had 5 or 6 jobs, been unemployed like 3 times. Lived in my overdraft for about 6 months too. Yeah, a really fun time. So I'll start by prefacing this video with this. I only started recording my year in 2019. So from graduation up until December, I didn't really record anything because I was just part-time working. I'll just catch up with that now. So after graduation in the summer, I worked for a charity because I'm that nicer guy. So I was doing that for I think about 2.5 months. Then I got a new job where I was working at Prism, a bar. So I was there for about 2 months, I think, probably less. So then I think in November, I started work at Ted Baker. That was actually a really nice job. Everyone there was great. Again, it was a seasonal contract for the Christmas time. So I was working there for about 3 months, I think. And then that finished in January, where I finished work on the Saturday at Ted Baker. Monday, I basically started a 2-week internship for a marketing research company, just to try and get some industry experience. So I was a market research assistant for like 2 weeks, unpaid. That was a fun time to go into work every morning and not get paid for it. But the people were great. The people were great. And that's essentially where this kicks off, with me on my first day at my internship. I think January 18th, I don't know. We'll find out. It's the 7th of January, I start like a 2-week internship today. We'll see how that goes. 3 days into it, it's not too bad. The not getting paid part is a bit depressing. 18th of January, I've just finished my internship. Cool. So yeah, that internship basically lasted 2 weeks, and in that time I learned quite a bit about market research. And it was never something I wanted to go into, but it was just experience that I needed on my CV. So I did that. I basically then spent the next week and a half looking for another part-time job because again the internship was unpaid and I still hadn't had anything lined up. So at this point it's probably 7 months after graduating where I still hadn't got some kind of graduate role. So then I basically got another part-time job in retail. It is the 21st of February. I now have a part-time job at Skechers. Luckily this one's a permanent role, so I don't need to worry about it being a temporary contract like I did at Ted Baker. So I'll have this job until someone actually hires me for a marketing role, however long that takes. So at this point I'm just going through the motions of retail work. Just there for a month so far, and basically just trying to figure out exactly what it is I want to do and then try and figure out how to do it. It's currently the 17th of March, St. Patrick's Day. I spent the day with some friends from university, so half of us have already graduated, the other half have yet to graduate, seeing that we're not placing this. We're talking about a bunch of different things whilst drinking, one of them being like what they plan on doing after they graduate and what our current plans are seeing we have graduated. That's given me some more motivation to like, continue pursuing what I am trying to do, and that is to get a graduate job. It's good to surround yourself with people who are quite optimistic about for the future. 1st of April, just had a interview for a social media internship. So at this point, I was accepted for a social media based role. I say accepted, but we'll get onto that later. It is April 4th. Today I had a phone interview for a company that I would actually quite like to work for, a media company. Yes, I had a phone interview with them this morning. Went well, I think. They should get back to me next week. And also, remember that internship I had on Monday. So they got back to me about 5 minutes after that. And yeah, I got the internship, which is good. That's a social media and digital marketing internship. So I'll be doing that 2 days a week. Alongside Skechers. We're still working at Skechers and doing the internship alongside of that. I've been waiting on some good news for about a year now. Yeah, so far so good. Start that internship at the end of the month. Yeah, some good news, thank God for that. This white stuff on my hoodie is adhesive paint from like 2 years ago when my uncle was redecorating his house. I helped him out with it. It hasn't come off since then, so basically, this social media internship thing accepted me saying, congratulations Sunny, you can start next week. Didn't give me any information. It's like, cool, it's the weekend before this thing's supposed to start. Anything you want to tell me? They're like, yeah, due to internal reconfigurations, we can no longer give you the role. So that would have been very bad if I had quit Skechers at that time to go for this role. And now we essentially pick up with me becoming a little bit more successful with my interviews. So at this current point, I had just interviewed for another small internship with a creative marketing agency, which is something that I wanted to go into. And I also had just had come off the phone for another permanent role within the selling of media space. And that's where we're at right now. 2 roles that are in progress. So I just had a telephone interview for a company called Reach Solutions. So that role is more paid media, so buying and selling advertising space. So it's in the digital realm, it's just not specifically what I want to go into. Foothold within the industry. I just had that went actually decently. Well, now it's Wednesday, the last day of which they would tell me whether or not I've got the job. I've messaged my friend saying, I'm guessing if they haven't told me by now, I haven't got it then, right? He replied saying the HR woman is apparently on holiday. So I really need this internship. I do have that backup plan with the other job, so I just woke up about 10 minutes ago with voicemail and email saying that I actually got the internship. Oh, I got it. I got the internship. Yes, they were like 4 days late getting back to me, at which point I genuinely thought I'm very sad that I didn't get it. But I got it. But I can actually be a good employee, as I've always been for Sketches, and give them like a solid week's notice. And they're now 5 months coming up to, which is genuinely longer than I thought it would be there. So happy that I got this. Like, this is something I genuinely needed so bad. Full-time paid internship for 3 months. And from there, if they want to keep me, great for me. But if not, that has given me solid agency experience, something I've needed for the past year. So yes, at this point I basically had 2 job offers, both in their own rights great roles. At this point, me explaining what those roles entailed and exactly where I wanted to go with my career. I have 2 job offers. One in something I really want to go into. It's a temporary contract with the possibility of a full-time role, and it pays a lot less. That is a permanent contract, a lot closer to where I live, that pays extremely well, but it isn't necessarily what I want to do. It's a creative agency, so they have a bunch of different clients and brands coming to them, all their marketing, social, video, PR. And the other is a publishing house who own a bunch of newspapers, and then in that role I would be using a bunch of data to figure out where exactly clients should place their ads. Basically after that I just had my final ever shift in retail, and that was great. Going to my last ever shift at Sketches, and hopefully the last ever Saturday I have to work in my life. So my time in retail had come to an end. Thank God for that. I mean, you know, people love retail, some people love retail, most of the people hate working in retail. It is currently 7:30. I am going to go to work now. It took me about an hour and 10 minutes to get to work. Waking up at 6:20 today was difficult, but I'm excited, I'm nervous. So yes, I'd finished my first week working in the marketing agency. So far it had been great, I couldn't complain at all. Even now, having finished, there's not a complaint I could make against the place, it was amazing. But yes, now it's more so about me getting into routine of like the 9 to 5 life, but also like it's a good 9 to 5 life at this point. So I don't like to mention it much, but I'm killing this whole waking up at 6 AM, doing a 9 to 5 and going to the gym thing. Straight killing it right now. Week 2, and yeah, so far so good. Can't complain, still managing to be somewhat fit. The major downside of actually going to the gym after work when you get back at 7 PM is that after I've eaten and done all that, I only have an hour, literally just an hour to then do what I want. That's really the main drawback with having to commute an hour and a half to work. So by this point I'd basically been doing it for a few weeks now, and the only thing I could complain about really was the early mornings. It's been great so far. Yeah, like I said, it's just the early mornings that I can complain about. Apart from that, the actual work itself, the people are amazing. The culture is so good. I have a barbecue tomorrow at lunch with them. That's how cool they are. That's really the only negative I could think about this creative agency I was working at. It was how far I was away from where I live. Quickest it would ever take me was an hour and a half, and on the longest day it took me, I think, 3 to 3.5 hours to get to work one day, just because of how bad the trains were. This was the period when it was like a heat wave, and for some reason train tracks couldn't handle it, I guess to do with metal, you know, expanding, I don't know, science. Today was almost a good day. I got paid today, it was an early finish, there was a barbecue at work, the weather is amazing, but it's just taken me 2 hours to get home. Oh, I said that currently it's 2.5 hours, I'm not home just yet. And without hearing any word of whether or not they were going to keep me on, I was basically at this point just interviewing for other places, using the experience as like my leverage on my CV, like, hey, you know, I have agency experience now. So tomorrow I'm supposed to have an interview in London, so I'm supposed to take the afternoon off work to go to it. I'm not gonna go to it because I haven't felt right about this role at all. The search continues for a job if where I'm working now don't offer me one. So by this point I was genuinely thinking, oh, my agency time is coming to an end and I'm going to have to go back to sketches. As the manager said, oh, don't worry, you know, you're welcome back if they don't keep you. You know, great employee. I think it's currently like the 17th or 18th of August. I have like 3.5 weeks left of this internship and I still don't know if they're keeping me on. That's scary. I could be unemployed this time next month. I've spoken to my line manager and she wants me to stay on, so that's good. But the person whose actual decision it is someone else, so hopefully I've proved my worth and value during this internship, because if not, up to £7.83 an hour plus commission. So by this point I was genuinely contemplating, oh, I actually might have to go back to retail, which would be crap. August 19th, yeah, I still don't know whether or not I've got this actual job that they're gonna offer me or not. I still don't know. Basically this next like 15 seconds of the vlog, I guess it's just gonna be me, a countdown of whether or not I get an actual job or I go back to being unemployed. Either one. So yeah, by this point it was actually quite genuinely sad for me. They had told me that they weren't keeping me on after the 3 months, which was a shame. Like I said, I really liked the place. I'm supposed to have an interview in London, so I'm supposed to take the afternoon off work to go to it. But I haven't felt right about this role at all. Like, initially it was advertised to me as a song. However, then when I did some digging into the company, ex-employee reviews are disgusting and the role is more analytical based and they've changed the role. It's not clear at all, so I'm going to call them in like 10 minutes to say I can't go. The search continues for a job if where I'm working now don't offer me one. I am now in my final full week. I've just got to embrace it all now, essentially. Unemployment. Woohoo! So yes, they decided to keep me on for a few weeks. Some good news today. I had a meeting with my line manager that they're going to keep me on an extra few weeks. But I get an extra few weeks, which means good money. Money's nice. And then they decided, I think a few days or maybe a week later, that they're actually able to keep me on another 2 months, which is great. You know, an extra 2 months on my CV at this point would have basically been 5 months, almost half a year of working in a creative agency. So today I officially signed my extension for my contract, which means I'm guaranteed to be here now until at least the 31st of October. Another 2 months of experience, which I'm never going to reject. Hopefully if they were to extend my contract again, it's just me being an actual employee with an actual salary. Because right now, it's okay because, you know, my expenses are low, but it's not great. That's generally one thing I like about the place. They did want to keep me if they could, and or if there was room for me. So I should be having a call right now for a interview in London. It's a video call, I'll have everything here. But the link's not working. Coming to the end of my 5 months in this creative agency, so now I'm basically going through interviews on Skype, applying more broader in terms of locations, such as London and Manchester, because now I could afford to move if I wanted to. So I don't know what else I've said in this, but I've had 3 interviews, phone interviews this week. 2 of them have got back to me about part 2s to those next week, and 1 of them I'm still waiting to hear on. I've got like 5 weeks of employment left. But in the meantime, I'm going out tonight. I need a break from just life. I was gaining more success with the interviews maybe 3 or 4 weeks before my contract at my creative agency was to end, which sounds very long, but it's also probably the most success I've had with actually coming to the next stage of an interview, because now I have experience that I can use to back up what I'm saying. Just had an alumni event at university, that's where I currently am. Also had an interview earlier this morning, didn't mention it, but I had that too. Productive. Currently at university. And then more random things like going to an alumni event at uni just because we were invited and someone gave a presentation. So that was nice. Okay, a lot has just happened right now. I'm having a half day at work because I'm going to London right now to interview at a digital marketing agency. So I have a final presentation for that, final stage interview. Great. I just got off the phone with the interview I did a week and a half ago on Skype on my laptop at work. They just got back to me. They've offered me the role. Yeah, I just have been offered an account exec job in London for a production agency. So at this point, it was kind of a weird day. I was on my way to London for a final stage interview for a digital marketing agency, and I'd received a call from a creative production company saying I've been offered the role. Because at that point, I was literally on my way to another interview in London, and then I got a call saying, you have this job in London now. I still went to the interview, by the way. I told them that I had this offer, just so, you know, they could speed things along. They didn't give it to me in the end, the other place, because I was quote-unquote too creative for the role. Basically meaning they just knew the role was probably too boring for me and I probably wouldn't enjoy it as much, which I can completely respect. That was an interesting excuse from them. And then 2 or so weeks later, it was my final week or so left at the agency I was working at. This is my last Friday at my agency. I finish on Thursday next week, so... And then just like that, it ended as soon as it began. 5 or 6 months later, I was finishing at the agency I worked at. It's quite emotional. Everyone gathered round. They talked about my time there. We gave a little speech. Then I had to do a little talk. I love the agency. Everyone there was great. It was a really nice place to work. I'm sad to have left. That's where we're going to end this video, with me getting a job in London. Which is ironically my next video, me moving and trying to assimilate and or seeing if that works out. This video was only supposed to be a year after graduation, but most of the year was basically me spent trying to get an actual job. So a year and just over a year and a half later, the video is out. It's not even that I took time editing it, because I know, having spent time editing half of it, it's not that great. But it's more so just me wanting to get it out there and document how long it actually takes to get a permanent graduate job. And I think I've done that now. But yes, that's where we're gonna end this video. I will see you with the next video, and then after that, we don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen. But yeah, until next time, bye.
So fresh, but I guess how I want